My name's Tom Godwin. I'm a surrealist photographer based and lived in Coventry, and the piece behind me is from an ongoing series which is all based around lockdown and how we've all become a bit alienated from the outside world and the city that we grew up in, subverting familiar landscapes that have become very unfamiliar, but then also adding in a bit of the familiar colours of Coventry with like the blue orb sort of rising on the horizon, a bit like how Coventry itself has risen from the ashes. This is obviously a bit of the Coventry Cathedral, a bit of the new cathedral, and I guess I chose it because it really represents like one of the most iconic images of the city. It's taken with old school like film cameras, but it's using a lot of experimental film that shifts the colours and creates very sort of otherworldly, unusual aesthetics that aren't really like traditional photography at all. And then so mirror that old school process with a bit of like a modern technology, going back into Photoshop and adding in certain objects. Like if you look at the blue orb behind me, then yeah, it's sort of like a mirroring of new and old technology. For years I've sort of experimented. My whole sort of process does rely around how I can manipulate the film into really unusual ways. But during lockdown, obviously, there's a lot of time to just go a bit crazy and experiment with all different processes. So this is a bit of new and a bit of old. This has also been part of a series of photos I did for something called the Artists on My Street project, which was all about taking art out of traditional places you might see it and put it into like areas of communities that don't usually get to access art. So mine was in the Moat House Leisure Centre, which is in the Wood End part of Coventry, which is very far away, and it's all about like engaging with the community, getting them interested in art maybe, and just bringing something back and to little areas, well, all areas of the city, not just the city centre. I've seen some of the other rounds of the show windows and hadn't really heard much about it until I was walking around. Like, what are these shop fronts now turned into basically walking art galleries? And that whole unusual aspect really resonated with me and just immediately wanted to become involved with it, I guess.